Keep that going for Adam Ross.
When I started as a freshman at UCLA in the late 1980s, I felt very outnumbered as a gay person because until that point, the only people I'd come out to was my mom and dad. So that was a grand total of two people, and there were 30,000 undergraduates at UCLA. So no matter how many gay people there were, which was probably about 3,000, depending if you trust the statistics or not, I was definitely going to be outnumbered. And the good news is, within about 2 years, I'd come out to a lot of people. I made friends, I was very involved in the gay group, and I was ready to take my next step in outness when I heard that there were some men who had been alumni of straight fraternities around the country who wanted to found a gay fraternity at a university. So they were looking for their first group to do that. And so I and about 8 other students decided that we would be it. And we filled out some paperwork, and we hit a little bit of roadblocks here and there from the regular fraternities, but we got affiliated, and we became very quickly the nation's first fraternity of openly gay men at UCLA. Now, our goal was to be like all the regular straight fraternities, except for the blackout drinking, the date raping, and the homoerotic hazing that inevitably happens in every single one of them, right? So I used to tell people the only difference between our gay fraternity and the straight fraternities were that we were the ones not sleeping with our brothers. Right? It's totally true. But we did do a lot of things that the regular fraternities did, like we raised money for charity, we marched in the homecoming parade, we were in the talent show every year that they had at UCLA, and we nailed it because gay guys, right? Right? It wasn't even a fair fight. So we did all that, and it was great. Like, it was working. Our visibility on campus was making a difference for both the straight students and the gay students, whether they were out or not. And things changed when we got our second batch of students joining beyond our initial group of founders. They just didn't want the same things or think of the same things that we did in terms of founding the fraternity. And that didn't become more evident in any area until we, with respect to wearing our letters on campus. There was this one day when everybody had to wear your fraternity letters on campus. I think it was Thursdays. And as founders, we never minded that. You know, sure, we'd get dirty looks everywhere we went from various students and the occasional faggot. But we were really, really committed to what we were doing, so it was fine with us. But these new groups of students who are our brothers now, they really weren't into that. And then eventually, all the founders graduated except me, and I was left behind. So by the end of the second year of the fraternity being in existence, I felt like we had really lost track of why we had been created in the first place. So I proposed a motion at one of our chapter meetings that we require our fraternity brothers to all wear our letters on campus on the certain day of the week that all the other fraternities did. And what I was not expecting in that moment was a complete house of cards maneuver in which the other brothers decided to have a motion that I get expelled from the fraternity. And as I sat and waited for them to decide that, I really thought about, like, how did I get here? Like, what had changed? And what I realized, it wasn't just my fraternity brothers that were changing, it was actually the whole culture. You see, in the 80s, this thing started coming on campuses that they called political correctness. And what came along with it was this idea that the individual's needs to be validated and feel safe were more important than whatever the needs of the group were, even if the need of that group was to be a gay fraternity on campus, to be a symbol for everybody. So I sat and I waited to hear what their decision was, and it was a very, very close vote. But in the end, I was expelled from the fraternity because, once again, I was outnumbered. Thank you.